Hi, Angela Loeb here. I've been doing this for 30 plus years, and I'm excited about bringing you some of my secrets. We're going to talk today about the summary section in your resume. I've seen people like skimp on it, not even have a summary section, or overburden the resume with a summary section. So today we're going to talk about how to get in there and just make a concise, really awesome narrative that sets up the tone for the rest of the resume. And I'm excited about bringing you this template that I've created. It's basically an aggregate of various types of, content from various clients that I've worked with over the years and the human resources side of things. And so it's a made up person, but with real live like descriptions of information. All right, so let's look at it. I've got four elements, like I said, that I'm going to go through with you. And the first element is the role or function. So as you can see, I'm pointing it out in two places. Mind you, this is a teaching tool. I have packed in everything I can think of into this particular profile or summary so that you can see the whole enchilada, as they say. Okay, the role or function, we have it displayed in two different ways. We either have a headline or we have a positioning statement. The positioning statement is that little statement at the top of the resume, that simple statement that has your unique value proposition in it. And it starts with the title that you are targeting, that you're qualified for. A headline, on the other hand, can be aspirational. It can say what it is that you do or that you're targeting. And I love headlines. One of my favorite things to do is use headlines. I've loved using headlines before it was even sexy to use headlines on resumes, so I'm so glad we use them now. But as you can see, it's your name and then a headline, and boom, it's in my face. I know exactly what it is that you can do and that you're targeting. So it's very helpful to recruiters. And as a former recruiter, I used to appreciate it when people would just get right to the point with their role or function. That happens also with a positioning statement, where the positioning statement, that term, by the way, I took it from the marketing field. Marketing professionals know they have to position the brand, to position a product or service, and they position it in the mind of the customer, the potential customer. And what you're doing here is you're positioning yourself in the mind of your potential employer. And I love that little pun, that play on words, where it's actually also including your position, the position that you're targeting. Now, you don't always have to use both of these. You can use either or. And in this case, we've used it to good effect. We've used both of them. The reason I'm spending so much time on this element, it is super, super important. You want to start your resume with hard data, with hard information, not soft, fluffy information like dynamic, like adjectives, results driven. How many resumes have I seen that says results driven professional as the first few words? No, don't do that. It's gray noise to the recruiters. They look at adjectives like that and it's just gray noise to them. And how many times have I seen people start with accomplished? And just let your accomplishments speak for themselves. Don't throw them off with the word. Give them hard data. Tell them the position that you're targeting and you're qualified for. Okay. Moving on to the second element, which is personal branding. How to weave a little personal branding in. You've just told them what you do. Now it's important to tell them a little bit about how you do what you do. And this is, in effect, your unique value proposition. Now, that does occur in the positioning statement to some degree. You could do something pretty elaborate like I have here with this 4 bullets under a key strengths section. You don't have to go this far. You can have a few bullets. You could have no bullets. You may have just a simple statement that includes some extra things about your strengths as a statement that follows your positioning statement. So you might have just 2 statements at the top of your resume, and then boom, you've covered the position and role, that the function, that you're targeting, as well as a little bit of your personal branding. Totally up to you. Again, this is a teaching tool. I pulled out all the stops. I'm stuffed it pretty good so you can see everything. Okay. Oh, and one more thing before we leave the topic of key strengths and looking at your personal brand. When you're identifying this, don't just copy out there what you see other people saying about themselves unless it really is you. Okay? It is really something that is uniquely you. You're going to be able to talk about those strengths with stories in the interview process. Okay. So make sure that whatever you claim as a key strength or as your personal brand is something you could back up with success stories later, and you can show impact. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So that is something important to think about too. And another tip about figuring out what goes there. You're like, well, what do I put there if I'm not like putting the things that other people say? And what do I do? Think on this, answer this question for yourself. What is it that I do that I am good at doing, that I like doing? That's an important distinction because you can be good at things that you don't like doing. So it's important to think about your strengths as, and the ones that you want to emphasize on your resume, as the things that you enjoy doing, the tasks and activities that you are good at, that you want to do, and again, that you get impact with, that you get results. And usually when you're doing the things you like doing and that you're good at them, you're going to get results. All right, so let's look at the third element. The third element is this list here, which is, I called it the core competencies list here, but it's pretty much the key words and phrases that describe the skills and expertise that you have that are related to your profession, to your trade. Okay. Again, I have packed this profile or this summary section with so much. You do not need to have these many words in this section. In fact, I usually on average have maybe 9 keywords in this section, but you get the picture here when you're looking at these, and you can see these are the things that an HR manager would need to know how to do. All right. And so how does that apply to you in your profession? Those are the keywords. And you can look at the job description of job postings to get a good sense of what needs to be in there and matching those words that they're saying on those postings. One more tip about this before we leave this element is that you want to have intangibles, yes, but you don't want to pack too many intangible traits or qualities in here because, again, recruiters just get thrown off by those things. They don't care as much. They put them in the job description that they want you to be a team player, a collaborator, a good communicator, and so forth and so on. But those are intangibles that ultimately they don't care about because when they're interviewing you, they're going to find out whether you have those intangibles or not. They're going to know. So you don't have to really spend a lot of your space on your resume saying those things, okay? You can claim a few, but be sure that you're ready to talk about them in the interview, whatever you claim. All right, let's go on to the fourth and final section or element of this summary section, and that would be what we have here called the career highlights. But these are accomplishments or evidence of the impact that you've made, okay? So you've just spent all this time and energy and words describing what you do and how you do it and the skills and expertise you have. Now it's time to do what they say, put your money where your mouth is, right? Provide the evidence, provide the impact, the results. So there's usually some sort of initiative or goals or problems to solve or whatever, and you show up with all of this, these skills, this ability, and then you help to solve them or reach those goals. So let's talk about that. What have you done in real life to apply what you've just talked about in real success stories? And you'll see that these are just a few. You don't have to put many, just a few. And it's not the complete story. It's just kind of a teaser to let them know that you have a story and that you kind of almost daring them to ask you for more information when you're in the interview. So by putting this information in, you are backing up what you've just said. So you've told them and now you're showing them, and you're providing a complete narrative, again, that tells the story of you that's concise and informational and interesting. And then whatever follows after that in the experience section and the education section and so forth is just further proof and evidence of showing this. So the narrative goes like this. You do this role, this function in this way, your personal branding, your unique value proposition, and you have these skills and expertise. So your whole competencies list. And here is some real, juicy impact that you've made as a result of having all of this that you bring. And then after that, it's where did you work, for how long, doing what, and what educational credentials do you have if necessary. So there you have it. Now you have we've cracked the code together, and you have the 4 elements to make an outstanding summary section, all showing up at the top of the resume in a way that a recruiter can digest it, wants it, loves it, and then can, reach out to you. And you, by putting this experience the way you have, they'll get there. They'll go look at your experience section, but don't skimp on your summary section. Make it great so you stand out and you look unique. Okay? All right. So I leave you with that. I hope you'll join me for my next video, more resume tips. If you still have questions or you're still stumped about this, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to provide you some services or some advice. And I have so many resources, free resources on my website. And I'll put the contact information below. All right. I wish you well. Take care. Thanks.